Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks all for joining us. We're here and we're live in the aftermath of the Sorare Q&A, hosted by friend of the channel, Lerdinho, over on the Sorare HQ YouTube channel, where Guy and Erwan went through the tail of the tape of everything we had from the announcement the other day. And yeah, I just thought, let's just jump on live and we'll chew over, because we were on live yesterday going over the aftermath of it all as it happened. And for you guys that caught that, you know, it kind of came out of it feeling a little bit deflated is probably the easiest word to sum it up. Check it out if you've missed it already. I won't be going through a whole re-unboxing of the whole thing, but we certainly have a little bit more context, a little bit more info. I listened to the whole thing. This is not pre-recorded, Rob. I listened to the whole thing. I did, just because I was muddling around here doing some work and doing some other bits and bobs, I did maybe miss a little piece or two of dialogue, and I've not had a chance to re-listen to it yet. So I've got a pinned comment in the live chat for everyone that's watching us live and loud. What was your big takeaways from it? You know, I managed to catch little fragments and snippets myself throughout the conversation, which, you know, I think I did a pretty good job of getting us from point A to point B throughout of it. Maybe pressed a little bit with some of the questions, which we love to see and hear on licenses and classic rares and a few other bits and bobs. But like Rob said with the pre-recorded banter, wasn't really much interaction on it. I really don't get why it was. I don't get why it was live, really, to be honest with you, if you're not going to include some community questions or a little bit of feedback from the chat or something. So wee bit weird. Okay, cool. I thought there might have been a segment at the end, but I wasn't like, it just never felt like it was ever coming. So I did ask them, I'm like, is this pre-recorded? I didn't know if it was. I was like, no, it is live, because we're all here. And I was like, oh, maybe a premiere or something. Maybe I've missed a notification somewhere. But there was no Q&A at the end or questions from the audience, as it were. So anyway, we'll maybe try and chew over a little bit of that here. I think for me, the first thing I will maybe open the door with, I've called the stream Thursday Fun. So I'm going to be doing some MFL stuff when we get to the back end of this, but at the mid-season window, if you're a channel member, we need some reinforcements. We'll get to that later, but feel free to kind of bookmark that in your mind for later on, if you're watching this after we've been live as well. As Laird, like I mentioned there, brought up the whole classic rare thing, because I've certainly been a big proponent of giving those rares a score boost. They're getting a reward boost, which, you know, segregates them from limited classics, which I think is the minimum requirement from the first announcement that we want to change into the second one. So it's kind of you know, it's fine. It does the job essentially, doesn't it? But I don't feel it really does what was required in terms of maintaining a value difference between rare and limited. And the guys at Sorare went on to say it was a bit about integrity of the game and the score boosts that they're going to give to potential special edition cards, it sounds like, as well. I'm pretty sure I heard that right. In Pro, there will be very few of them, or in sets, there'll be very few of them. I did struggle to kind of keep up with all the dialogue, just with juggling different tasks and the way the conversation went and whatever. But I thought, yeah, okay, I kind of get the principle of what they're trying to hold on to here, but I think it misses the individual situation. You know, we went through this on the channel the other day. We'll maybe just do it again for purpose of example. But when it comes to the whole classic rare thing, right, you've got two sections of the market. You've got the captain capable guys, and you've got the goalkeepers. Where will we sit? Let's sit over here. Let's just have a look at goalkeepers, right? Because so what is the purpose of buying rares, right? You've got limiteds. You know, why buy a rare, right? Now with the rare in seasons, it's quite clear, because the prize bonus on, or the reward boost that those guys get, is significant. You know, it makes a material difference. As we've seen when we looked at the blogs the other day, and I'll go and get this screen up just for purposes of example real fast. The reward boost of 5%, let's just take Premier League because it's the biggest one, right? So it should be a favourable example for the purposes of doing it. But if you've got a full limited in-season team and you're thinking about, you know, getting an extra edge and maybe building into a rare leaderboard or building into a full rare streak team or whatever, the goalkeeper, you know, it doesn't really present value really as an individual piece. You could still run a limited goalkeeper with in-season rare outfields, and I don't think it really makes much of a difference, because the 5% bonus that you get for the classic rare, if it's a goalkeeper in particular, the price difference is what we'll look at in a second, but 5% of $5 is 50p. That's the difference. Now, if we go up to the most extreme likely example, because let's say most Sorare users won't build their teams saying, I will definitely hit the 450, I think a lot of people will be thinking, I'll definitely hit a 400 a few times. Maybe a 430 isn't unachievable either. So let's just go with the 430 as like the dream scenario. To get 5% of this, you're talking about 20 quid. You would have had a fiver here. You're talking about a line difference over the whole thing of like 30, 40 quid. And when you look at the the price of other cards by comparison, is the price difference of 30, 40 quid going to show itself in rare goalkeepers to limited? No, it's not. It's going to be, so again, let's find a good example for this. What we look at, and I'll pull up some of your guys' stuff as well. Fist bumps on arrival. Good to see you all here. It's not pre-recorded. We will be taking questions in chat from you guys as always. They won't answer the live chat as those questions. Yeah, well, again, they could still get some of the ones they're happy to talk about that didn't come up in the conversation they've just had. I think that's mainly the purpose. It's not really the difficult questions, but there will still be some detail maybe that was spoken about that they could have went further on. Special cards for the Euro hot streaks. Yeah, everything was quite hot streaky with all that basis. Yeah. At what point did they, talked about guessing? What? They talked about getting rid of last man tackle? No. Do you know, they mentioned that to me last year. See last year, that cannot be allowed to happen. It really can't. So they spoke to me last year when they were changing the matrix. You might remember goalkeepers lost, conceding 3 goals as a negative decisive. And you can go back and check the tapes. I'm taking credit for keeping it this year because they said to me then we want to ditch last man tackle. And I was like, you just can't do that because there's some defenders that live and die on their viability because they can pull that off 3 times a season. And the fact that anyone can pull it off at any given moment. Some defenders will never score. Some defenders will never assist. That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous if they removed that. I'm going to say that now. So anyway, let's find a decent keeper because I'm kind of, if I did champion, no, I've not. Let's just do Premier League. Yeah, because we're talking about those Premier League payouts. Or sorry, English League, or whatever we're calling it. Right, so Raya, that's an in-season specifically. That's probably the floor. I'm going to assume even Donnarumma. Let's just say Donnarumma at 76 here. Yeah, he's at 76. Oh, sugar. The limited is 25. That's not going to hang. That's not going to stay. There's not 50 quid of value difference to having a classic limited Donnarumma or a classic rare. The price of that rare is going to go way closer. Now, maybe there'll be a little bit of maybe that 25 at the limited could go to 28 because there's just more demand for the limited all of a sudden. But this is going to have extreme downward price pressure on it. No two ways about it. And there's other guys that it's maybe less of an issue with. If I can see, like Leno is 13 quid here. And it rare is 4 quid. Limited is 4 quid. That difference of 8 quid. Again, if you're on any of these streaks to get the reward bonus, what one are you potentially buying them for? It's maybe only 5 or 6. So for like the classic goalkeeper thing, it really, I don't think makes them viable at all. Look at Emi Martinez, 4x the price from limited to rare. Kelleher, 5x the price. That's some of these things just will not hold up, which is a problem. Now the reverse of this is not the goalkeeper, but it's the captain capable guy. So let's hope we get some decent examples that can just pop up here. Dominic Soboslai, you're talking about 5x the price, essentially, maybe 4x if you want to be pedantic on the maths. Pedro Porro, the same. So with the outfielders, right, the only outfielders at Rare Classic you would buy over Unlimited is like that captain kind of guy. I think Bruno Fernandes is a pretty good example. And there could be some other ones. Erling Haaland is probably not a bad one either. But they are looking at 3 to 4x in price. Again, with the reward bonus. Because if those guys, see if Haaland had a 5% score bonus, then when you're looking at all of these targets, him packing a wee bit more of a punch on purchase, you don't need the collection bonus, you don't need the big XP. That gives him a value proposition that holds that value, in my opinion, or maintains that sort of value. And yeah, whatever, like Emi still has a match, right? Fine, but I think you can see the split I've got here between limited and rare. So I think this has just been totally missed. And maybe they're And I get the whole integrity of the game thing they're trying to uphold with the rarer ability to get a score bonus, which is what they're trying to do right now. But again, like, forget about the captain capable guys and the goalkeepers. You're not going to spend, if you can spend 50p on Calvin Bassett or a fiver, that reward bonus is not worth the four. It's just never going to be worth it. What step are you buying them on where it's going to be worth it, or it's going to be a play you make? It's just not going to happen. On streak 3, you're only winning, streak 4, whatever, exactly, £2.50. There's no difference there at all. So why would you buy a £75 Donnarumma? You wouldn't. You'd buy the £25 one. So I will be in like a dog with a bone with this, because I do think, like, I get them putting them together. And like I say, it's super rare and unique. The benefit uniques get is there in season. That's gravy. That's cool. Laird asked them, could the unique become like a true MasterCard? And that works even down at limited and rare. They said, no, that won't be the case. Maybe that's a small opportunity miss. I'm not really too concerned or passionate about that. But I think for limited, for mixing limited and rare in hot streaks like this, and rare classic to be like, I think that this is such a small difference that they've put into place. It is non-existent. It's basically negligible, so yeah, interesting that that's their POV on it. I don't totally agree with it in terms of like it's going to be the cure that they want. Again, like this Anthony Robinson is quite a usable player. Why would you pay £3.50 when you can pay 50p? That £3 you save goes towards rare in season, goes towards limited in season, which, fine. I get that's probably maybe part of their main agenda here is, like selling cards for more money and whatever. But there's the consequence of the in-season cards you buy today are the classic cards of tomorrow. That also builds into the value, which I think has been overlooked here. It's streak 5. I think, like, for some guys, it will be kind of worth it. But if you're on streak 5, if we're thinking about goalkeepers specifically, you can think about outfielders if you want. There's not many guys. Like, you're not going to buy Anthony Robinson. That would be a good move, wouldn't it? But, or maybe you might. He might be an interesting example because he can be quite spiky. But it's just not going to hold up in the market. It just won't, So let me see I've got a pinned comment. I want your main takeaways, because there's clearly going to stuff. Guy doesn't like last man tackles. Yeah, it might have been Guy that was behind it last year. Honestly, it is a ridiculous idea. It is a ridiculous idea because there's some people who don't score or assist. What viability do they have in the game? Why would someone buy them? I think it's just so. I think you can be too close to something. I've been like that at times myself with Sorare, over the years, and I've had to take a wee step back to see like an announcement or a development or something, or wait for it to materialize. But again, if that's coming back around again, I totally missed the last man tackle thing. That needs to be dropped and moved on from. Right, Mikey Basson dropped something. My big takeaway. If you again, big takeaways, guys, drop them in the chat. Perhaps they didn't want Denmark and Turkey as only odd clubs, or perhaps it was actually difficult. Either way, this was the reason for death of Challenger. Yeah, I did. We spoke about it in the Telegram. I did catch the whole. They didn't want like these island clubs, these satellite teams where there's like, there's 2 teams in Denmark and 1 team in Norway. And did they mention Norway actually? Did they? 3 teams in Turkey or whatever. They wanted to kind of clean that element out the game. But again, if that's been their decision to do that for aesthetics, essentially, this is crap. Like, this is not a good competition. To not have the Turkish teams in here, the Danish teams, the Norwegian teams, whoever they've deliberately cut because they think they want a streamline, this competition sucks. Like Bundesliga 2, none of those cards are going to be highly useful. Like Austrian Bundesliga didn't score well at all last year. You do get the odd guys, like, I think Fitz has went back, so maybe Fitz will have a second coming. Croatia, I know Zagreb do all right. Rijeka can be all right for a minute. So can Hajduk. But against a lot of these Bundesliga 2 teams, like, it's basically just second division reincarnated, isn't it? So again, if that's been a deliberate kind of housekeeping thing that they've done, I really don't agree with the logic behind that. I don't think it holds. Ream has been added. Cool, that's great. If they remove a positive, then a negative has to counter it. Yeah, that's a good point, Graham. I really don't want any of them removed, to be honest with you. If anything, I would want another one or two added. In the sense of like the whole penalty won, penalty scored, whole age-old debate on Sorare. I'd like a bit of that. And was there another one? Like, yeah, if see if they could get rid of last man tackle or clearance off the line, but substitute it for like saved a goal, you know, because sometimes we get that on Sorare, don't we? But it's not quite a last man tackle or clearance off the line. It might be an interception or a block. If we could get like goal saving action, I wouldn't mind that as a substitute or an upgrade on a decisive, but Andrade of Lask was one of the, yeah, exact. But there's a few. Could you maybe do this region as like fantasy football, like pure fantasy football style, like have Andrade and Wanizek and Atik and whatever? Yeah, you probably could and whatever. But to not include Turkey, Denmark, and whatever by choice in this, I think is it's just baffling, to be honest with you. It makes no sense to me. Like, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. Those teams compete in the Europa League, they compete in the Champions League, Conference League, whatever. Nordisland were great collections, man. People loved them, the rookies, the talent that they were bringing through. So again, if it's that kind of element that's played a part in it. So one of the questions we did have, by the way, between us was, why can the license not be used for Serie A? They spoke about that and they said apparently it's just not allowed, you know. So the FIFA Pro license or the player agent license has limitations. Right at the very end of the stream, you might have missed it, but Erwan did drop a little spoiler or a leak saying that they had that conversation with the player associations to do Argentina, and they were very close but didn't materialize, and they hope to get them for next season. So so that was interesting. The kind of idea I floated out the other day was maybe that Serie A happens in like next month, and they kind of know that. So why do 5 Milan Blue editions of every player, etc., when you're going to get the real one anyway? So yeah, I just find some of it strange. I don't know why they didn't take questions from the audience. The rare thing I spoke about, the license decision or situation, I don't really know how you want to put that. See, I didn't catch it all verbatim, and I will give it a second listen. I might speak on all this again. But that's why I was hoping a wee bit of you guys maybe could chime in with your thoughts and feelings in case there is something that I missed out on. MLS back tonight. Let's go. Indeed. Also, if the 5% is lower than $1, I don't think they pay it, do they? Oh, wow. They only pay full dollars. Home Plate Cards UK. By the way, see if that is the case. Where's the comments? I can put it up on screen. Home Plate UK. See if that is the case. Exactly, man. It does absolutely no difference to Man or Beast. The market isn't dumb. And although there is like a makeshift fence between limited and rares, the market won't care. It will not care. The market doesn't really overly care about jersey editions and special editions too much. If anything, those guys will just be the ones that are bought first rather than are paid a premium for. And in this case, there will be no premium. If a rare and a limited is the same price, you're buying a rare. but that's the situation they've set up. Issue with that, Quinny, is that they are still trying to get the Prem, apparently. Yeah, so I think that's still negotiations are underway. So, like, maybe it turns around. Again, that's why I don't want to be too definitive with some of these statements. It does sound like the Prem won't be here this year. They're making plans. It sounds like firmly that that's the case. Could happen mid-season. I wouldn't rule that out. Could certainly. I think a lot of the chat is for next season, but I wouldn't rule it out. You can't take away, as that was important, affecting game action, just like a goal. Yeah. What does everyone think the best strategy league-wise and pro arena, and which maybe to avoid? Now, we spent a bit of time chatting about this yesterday. I actually think Eredivisie and Jupiler are sneakily OP because Belgium has just gained more clubs. It's an 18-team division now. And I think both of these leagues have shown often enough, like, you kind of know what you're getting from them. And they are a little bit like yesterday's toys in some ways, you know. They're going to get released right. Like SPFL got a mad premium a few times. I would expect that probably to happen once more. maybe Portugal. I don't think Croatia and Austria are going to have much early access attention. But I think Eredivisie is always somewhat popular, as is Jupiler. But I think those are the leagues that actually could be like the scouts' choice, as it were. It's a full league. You have a lot of track record there. The prize pool is amongst the most generous of the ones that are set up there. And I think the cost of cards will be pretty good. I think there'll be a lot of hype into English second division players, the English Championship, because it's a new toy. And there's a lot of you guys that support those teams that are in those leagues. And there's some great squads and some great talent. I think that will take a lot of demand. But the flip side to that is that maybe the champion ones, maybe they open up a little bit. So I think it will be quite price sensitive, Tim, because we also have all this on, bigger payouts for the first 3 or 5 games, depending on what we're talking about. But again, it will be kind of weird. But my little feeling is maybe Belgium. I'd maybe extend it to Belgium and Holland, but I think they might be the sneaky choices for this. If we've got the prize pool, that's essence conversion. Handy. This is just all the champ stuff, isn't it? I think we got that in part 1 of the blog, didn't we? Let me go and open that up. So yeah, I think Belgium's kind of my sneaky shout for the scouts' choice. The Sorare manager that's been around the block once or twice. I'll just get up on this page here. I'll just change so you can see what I'm up to. Yeah, because Arena prize pool at Rare and Limited is pretty fair. I don't think the head count of entries will be that wild. They did clear this up later on that you can do 4 teams per scarcity, per leaderboard, or per arena, however you want to do it. The Dutch is the exact same. Dutch is actually better at Limited. Oh. And the podium has an extra $100 on it at 3rd place. Yeah, I think Dutch. Belgium's kind of sneaky because it's very close to Holland. If there's a real price difference, maybe Belgium is better than Holland, but I think with the Belgian league growing in number this season, like the top 6 will be better this year. So that's why I'm edging Belgium. I just think you'll get better scores, better points per pound in that region. I really do. Let me see what else you're saying to it. Yeah. Good point, Rico. Same, Rico. I would have honestly seen, knowing that he was on the table. Like, I was saying this somewhere else, but there's an alternate universe where somehow I got in at Celtic somehow and realised Brais Mendes was on the move and made it happen. There's no way you're moving to Columbus, but you wouldn't move to Glasgow, you know. Will we get Prem relaunch edition? Maybe, yeah. That's a funny one. Is Meh for streaks so low scores? And I think that changes this year, Don. I do, because I think, like, if we look at the Belgian league, it's went up by 6 teams. And maybe not for all of them, right? But see, whoever's going to be like I said top 6, right? Let's just say top 4. Whoever that is going to be, they're going to do a lot better. There's going to be some teams that get rinsed in this division. It might be hyper competitive or something. I don't know, but a league going, was it 12? I'm sure it was 12 last season. Maybe it was 16. It was 16 last year. Okay. Has it been on a steady incline? Maybe let's jump back a few years. I don't think it's been 16 that long. Oh, it was 18 actually not that long ago. Interesting. Yeah, look at the points and all that back here. Kind of different. Yeah, maybe this is a return to old Belgium. I do think it's slightly new, Don Q. I do think it's slightly new. I do think your experience and your insight will stand you well, and it's probably going to ring true to some extent in a lot of situations, I would say. But yeah, man, I just feel with the league getting bigger, it just opens up to more good results happening, I think. I like Portugal. better over Belgium streak-wise. Yeah, I think, well, the thing with Portugal, though, is like outside of the top 3 clubs, will it really be viable? You know, Alverca, Casapia, Estoril, Estrela, Amadico. Like, these are they like top half? I know they all have like a good player or two here and there, but I'm not sure you're doing that great with them. And again, Benfica Sporting always like have an off day or whatever, but generally they only lose like 2 games a season. That's kind of what makes them them. Yeah, good point, Jorg. They could have maybe worked a bit harder on it. Hard to know from the outside. Belgium, no more playoffs. Could help. Normally, big teams will rotate a lot for European games because they'll end up in the playoffs anyway. Yeah, done. Yeah, great point. If that structure's changed totally, every point is very much more valuable then, isn't it? There's less safety nets to catch you. Luckily, I know the Eredivisie and watch it a lot, so that will be my league then. Yeah, I think they're very tightly wound, but the Eredivisie, if you know it better, does have a wee bit more of a payout on the leaderboard. Oh, streaks and leaderboard. Like I say, Don Q raises a good point that maybe for streaks it's maybe not quite as fertile as maybe just you would think or I would think on the surface level. So I don't know. I'll maybe reserve a wee bit of judgment on that. But I do think the leaderboard is good for sure. Is the streaks in here? Or is it this one? Sorry. What were the scores? I don't think 440 is that wild with a Bruges sack or something. Really. Tazonlis might move on, or it looks like he's going to move on. They might replace him. There is maybe a bit of a smash element that's lost out the league. But yeah, I don't think 440, and maybe you're really thinking about 460, right? But if you can hit 440, 460 is not exactly unattainable, you know. Few and far between and all that thing, I get it. We do have lives on streaks now, you know. Yeah, that's the thing with streaks and lives. Because the one thing that's missing from this, right, is right. So the way the step clock works, right, you're on step 1. Nobody cares about the step clock on step 1. Okay, so if you've got one team, you're going to play every weekend. That's fine, right? If you get to step 2 or beyond, right, you've only got one team stack, whatever you're going to do. You've got 4 lives, 3 lives, I forget. But as soon as you play that team, the step clock is on. So your 3 lives aren't actually there for you if you're a one team stacker. You need to be able to play the weekend for each life now to benefit from the extra lives. So if you were just to go with like one of these teams that we're chatting about in Belgium or Holland or whatever, particularly when you're thinking about like, oh, for the big streaks, you could about do it, but you'll need a really good combo, or you need to cover the bases between different goalkeepers or different captain options. You need to go into that pack and power. You know, you can't go into that and go right out like you would in sets. Like, I'll play the team this time and then I'll play midweek, or I'll wait till next weekend for the next life. That won't be possible. So that's another little thing to think about. Because I do think like Belgium and Holland, like if you're going to you're with streaks, you're going to need to go into it, I think, with a 2.5 club strategy. And I'm thinking a little bit about what I managed to build with Celtic and Challenger last year, where if I can filter this out and we'll try and have a peek at it, where I started off quite clearly with like a Celtic stack. And then as the season went on, as you guys know, we went and built lots of different stacks, right? But what I tried to do after I'd got my Celtic base in, I can find where we started buying Sorare 26 cards. Here, yeah. So I got my Celtic stack in, and then I've picked up like a few filler pieces. Again, this will be quite common, I think, for a lot of people. You get a cheaper goalkeeper elsewhere. You get an unknown transfer that could come in and do well. I've got the 1 of 100 Braga. Yes, I do. And then from there, once you've got your one team established, like from there, what did I do? I went into Fenerbahce defensive stack and the Asensio, which was cool. And then I started to pick up, I guess, I would probably say the Porto guys. I know I've got Kratzig here, but I then picked up like a second little armory, and it was like Fenerbahce was for defense and goalkeeper, and then I got a little bit of that with Porto as well. So yeah, I kind of ended up with like those two teams. Eventually, I ended up kind of filling out Salzburg a little bit more. But I think you're going to need to have that type of situation where imagine you buy the Bruges stack, but you're not going to get Jan Sommer in right away. So you're going to get the goalkeeper from somewhere else. And then maybe you get the new signing from Anderlecht that's going to rip the league up that's went under budget and you go for it. But that's one team, and early doors, that'll be fine. But you'll need to eventually build it up so that you can play all your lives in a weekend. And then the tactics and the decisions will be, do you team stack? Wait for the lineups to come out, play Bruges, play Anderlecht, play Ghent, or do you build your teams before anything starts or before the first game starts at the very least and set and forget the three of them and let he started, he DNP'd, that'll all kind of happen in itself, but you'll have 3 or 4 combinations of teams going out. You could do that with the one club. You could just take a Bruges stack, obviously, and get 4 Sommers and do 4 this, 3 that, 2 that, mix the combos up, double defense, double forward, and then cross your fingers. You could do that too, of course. But point being is that's something to think about with the step counter, because even the added lives is something we're all quite happy with. If you're single team stacking, it does nothing for you. Seems like the strategy will be leagues that don't play Saturday afternoons. Oh, that's a good thing to remember. Yeah. I get that, but again, equally, like I think I don't think it's exclusive. Like, I think for that contender region, I think everything I just said for the situation you have with the leagues, like the contender, it's the same. But if you had Turkey and Denmark in it, like they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you could have a Fenerbahce stack, you could have an Nordisland stack, you could have a Karlsruhe stack, whatever, and play the same game. I don't think, I don't think that is it mutually exclusive, Mikey. But I think you're right. That's it's probably why they went to more leagues to kind of push the multi-purchase element of some of these cards that maybe didn't sell too well last year. Yeah, one competition for a lot of people, Rico. You're spot on there. I think for like the first step or two, it depends on your appetite. But the first step, really, who cares? Like if you miss it and stuff. Second step is just more frustrating because you kind of want to be progressing for the next weekend and that. I think it will. I think you're on an incline. You need more players as you go in, but I think for like match day 1, if you're a budget player, like one team will be fine. And the thing as well is that you might think, right, I'm going to sack Bruges, but do you know what? Do you know what? Did you see the price of those Beveren players? I just bought 3 of them, and I've got a classic whoever, and I got a random whoever guy out of this team because he was going for £2. There'll be a little bit, and again, well, that hit streak's probably not, but it maybe opens up to getting you going earlier. But I make you right, Rico. I make you right. Any other big takeaways that we've not spoke about? Having a hit 410 for a tenner is shocking. Yeah. And that's at rare. So it must be some sort of, I know you were saying earlier, but they don't pay pennies. There must be some sort of overall, it won't be like individually on the card. It must be some sort of overall team thing that factors as a bonus. Mikey Baston says the contender with the step clock thing, yeah, it could be actually quite troublesome. No one goes into Tuesdays though and stuff like that. That's really the problem. Is if people play Thursday and Tuesday, that would be the issue. Because of European football, no one plays Thursday midweek. So like, I'm not sure if I get that. I understand it. Good to see you, Red or Dead. Dropping the fist bump, smashing the like button. Love to see it. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're probably not going to run the Bruges stacks right out of the gate unless you're going to buy them anyway. Kai Wagner back to Philly's a big one, isn't it? Sorare managers everywhere rejoiced. Right, guys. So we'll come back to this in a second. But it is MFL season 15, and we need players for the foundation. We are sitting top of the table. Top of the table. And you might be sitting there thinking, how is that possible, Quinny, without a defence? It's because we're tactical geniuses here on this channel. Me, you guys in the live chat, we know our onions. We know our onions. We are veterans of the game. And you guys have been IDing some great players and sending them through. And we've been kicking ass and taking names. We're 1 point off the top. It's a very tight top half of the table, but we are in the driving seat. We have beaten all the teams that are needing to be beaten. But we desperately need a second string defence. I'm not sure how much longer we can play this game, to be honest with you, of rotating guys and having guys that have got no fitness and whatever happening. We desperately need a backup defence. We need Damaro to go back in as being a backup midfielder, which we just about have backup for everything. If we could get some more backup elsewhere, it would be welcome, but we need defence pronto. If you have any players, let me know. The mid-season transfer window's open. We're only allowed 3 transfers. If you're a channel member, I will take players of any rating, but with us pushing for the title, ideally, we want to add in some guys that can add some defensive depth to us. Josh Telly beat us the other day. GG's Josh, up in third. And it looks like we've lost some games there, but it's a cup as well. Why didn't you tell Thomas T how to play for our defence? I told you from the beginning Thomas Tuchel was not going to do well at England. I knew it. Not a fan of Tommy Tuchel. Been a big proponent on this channel that he's a pretender. And see those clips of him saying Southgate didn't have a style of play and they didn't try to win and all that. What a bottle merchant. That is bottle crashing of the highest order. To say all that beforehand and then to do it. Somebody should have showed him that clip before the game. He probably would have changed things. I think if he was really aware of those quotes, he'd have acted differently because there's no way he'd want. You can tell he's quite a. What's the team rating like? Yeah, we're doing all right. I think the 8-14. Yeah, I said I'm going to be into Celtic stuff anyway, and very likely going to be right involved in SPFL stuff because I've started a new channel. Most of you will know already, but it's called Scottish Football Daily, and I've been doing daily content on that Monday to Friday for 6 or 7 weeks now at this point. I've had some lovely growth on the channel, but if you're a Sorare manager, it will be hopefully a very good resource for any of you that play Scottish League. I've been covering all the transfers, I've been breaking down all the matches, reviewing stuff, and don't know if I'll quite get all the way to predicted 11s and stuff. That's quite intense, but yeah, feel free to check it out. There's been tons of action every day. There's transfers. Honestly, it's a bit of a renaissance in Scotland for the transfer market. As I try and find the Scottish payouts here, that's not. I went past it, haven't I? Or is it maybe on this page? No, it's this page. And yeah, I was saying yesterday, like, the money's all good. Everything does look pretty fine. I know a lot of this stuff we're looking at is boosted, but where the hell's Scotland? Am I losing my marbles? I feel like I'm losing my marbles. Where the hell is Scotland? Is it in this page? It is this page. This is the page that was like had duplicates on it, didn't it? Oh, wow, yeah. Portugal was like on par streak-wise with Belgium and Eredivisie. Like, see, again, see when I see this, why are they not grouped together? Like, see if there's all these guys having the same pick. Why is that not a region? And you can mix and match. You know, you can get Belgian goalkeepers and Dutch strikers and Portuguese mids. They all paid the same thing anyway. Maybe the step clock and stuff. Maybe that's the thing, right? Fine. Where the hell's Scotland? There we go. Will I be buying Scottish stuff right out the gate? Yeah, probably. But I'll be kind of smart on that. Like, I'll buy like Tierney and McKibben and Forrest and Ralston. That would be great for streaking. Yeah, and see if they've got the same prize pool. It's quite unso rare to segregate them, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's not any bloody difference. Because again, right, this is, again, so, right, take everything we've just spoke about, right, and put it on the shelf, right? Make sure we're still looking at it. Because one part of all of this that has been way lost in the wash, I was on the phone with Harry last night. Has Harry messaged me back? Harry might jump on with us for a bit. I'll send him a link for now in case he's around. He did say maybe 4 or 5 if he could get nap time achieved. I said I'm going to try and jump on right after this. He never got back to me. So anyway, I'll send him a wee pinger. Maybe Harry will gate crash. I'll send it to Laird as well in case he fancies it. Probably doesn't, but you never know. You never know. You never know. Kick the door open, you know. Right, so this is the essence that we win for next year. What league is this essence that we're going to win with all of our classic cards? It's all-star essence. Yeah, so what cards are we going to craft with all of our classics? Anything. Could be Japanese, could be Korean, could be MLS, could be Scottish, could be Croatian, could be Austrian, could be any one of them. Now, of course, you will have the ability to win league-specific essence from the league-specific competitions. Here's England Second Division, just on screen as an example. There is these leaderboards per competition, like there is for those hot streaks we've looked at. But if you're a Sorare scouter manager that's been around the block longer than like a minute, you've got a classic collection, and the essence you're going to be pulling in is neutral. You're going to be crafting people from all these competitions. So then, see when I see like Eredivisie, Belgium, and Portugal all like, why are we making things hard? Why is it hard to build a team? Why is it not easy to build teams and to play and to get rolling and to have an imagination and to play with it? Needs some serious arena washing. Yeah, well, that's going to happen, isn't it? If that's still able to happen. Again, I've not really seen any mad clarity on the 10-man arenas. I think they're still staying, aren't they? I've not really seen that they're staying or they're going anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if they go, quite frankly. I know it's a bit of a rake, so there's no real reason for them to ditch it, but so yeah, there's champion essence, so that's maybe a bit better if you're a Champ League guy. Okay, fine. Under 23 is neutral as well. Yeah, they said they aren't changing. Okay, so that's still there. You'll be able to play that game if you really want to, but talk about a farm and talk about a graft, you know? I just don't think there's as much care for like the ecosystem of the game. It's not really about old players and classic cards, but it's like everyone is going to be every customer, every Sorare manager, every Sorare scout, if it goes through the same life cycle. They buy new cards. Those new cards win stuff. Those new cards become old cards. They then want to go again. What can their old cards do? How many new cards do they need? What new cards do they want? So looking after the system as it sits in now is looking after everyone that's coming in the door. It feels like there's a disconnect there with some of this. Yes, league specific ones you would. But if you've got classic cards, like I do, I've got 700 classics. So am I just not to play them? Am I just not going to play them? Because I don't want neutral essence. Oh, maybe we could just choose it for XP. Yeah, maybe we could just choose some XP. That'll make it fine. That'll make it fine, won't it? I don't know, man. Yeah, this is going to be messy. I'm just thinking ahead. Like, I'm going to be building these teams. I'll have 4 All-Stars. I'll have 4 champions. How many under 23s will I have? Who cares? Let's just say it's 4. I'm going to pull in 8,000 essence, and I'm going to pull a card from Belgium, Portugal, and Holland. You want neutral, you don't want all-star. Is there specifically a difference anymore, though? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. Like, what? Yeah, I'm not sure. Unless there's something in the small print I'm not seeing. But I think it's just Sorare 27 essence. Is all the chat I've seen, you know? The difference would be, Rob, that if you had neutral and champion, the machine would treat all of it as champion because neutral doesn't have a designation, kind of, whereas all-star is categorized as everything. That's the difference. Very small, but so people have been doing. So it's a again, I just don't imagine it's going to be there. Maybe, again, I'm being pessimistic on that, but so again, like, you're going to ask people to play Sorare 27, buy new cards, take your pick of what league they're going to play, and then next season, this is how they're going to. You're going to now be crafting cards from all over the place, and you'll play whatever happens. You know, like, I don't think you want, and again, I don't think you want classic comps that mirror the in seasons, like classic SPFL, classic Portugal. I don't think that solves it, because they're probably too small to pay out well, those competitions individually. But I think it's the de-regionalization of a lot of stuff that's really the problem, because, like, if you're collecting all Belgium and you're crafting this stuff all the time, the bots are going to be in high demand. I just think there's a lot of market pressure going on that I think Harry's got the baby on his tummy. Sorry. So he's pinned down for the count. That's fair enough. So yeah, I'm not sure. And again, there was no other big takeaways from you guys, if anything I've missed. Neutral is okay if you're earning flavored essence elsewhere. Yeah. All-Star converts to neutral. I thought it was the new name. Yeah, I think it is just. If they've said All-Star converts to neutral, I think that means the neutral game is gone. It's just all the same thing now. That's the way I read it. I don't think that whole turning your essence around is going to do anything anymore. Which means you're going to be crafting, like, all the guys. You're going to open up a room and it's going to say Star Room. You're going to be like, oh, buzzing, man, can't wait. K-League guy with 3 games left. You know. Well, that's what a lot of people were saying, Mikey. They were going to just start with their classics, but I don't see that being the case, because people will want that flavoured essence now, won't they? As well as, like, again, I just think price opportunity will happen for all the positives and negatives that are around everything. See when auctions come out, and I can see the messages already. Did you see the price Bruno went for? Did you see the price? Did you? Oh my God! Look at the price of the limit. Oh, look at the limited. Oh, and then we bet market activity, prices take a wee bump, maybe. You know, like. So I don't know. I don't think the numbers are all good. The payouts are all fine. It's the game harmony I feel is broken. The stuff we spoke about yesterday was a lot more on where we're kind of promised leagues that didn't happen, you know. So there's a wee bit of opening up an empty present on Christmas. Again, if you'd missed the stream yesterday, go and check it. But the chat today, it feels like it's lack of synergy, harmony. Like last year, I remember the chat from Sorare was, we want the prize pool to be condensed. We want to put all our money in, all our stuff, so people really feel big prize pools and rewarded for their lineups and everything. And I don't know about you, but I really had next to little complaint about last year in terms of game mode. I think the only issues I had really was when cards got pictures and stuff, and when transfers happened, would they actually get a card and such. And this is a step away from that. It's more spread out. There's more silos. And they're not even regionalized to like bucket them. It's like silos. It's like tubes, categories, very firm pillars, very narrow pillars of Portugal, Holland, Belgium, Scotland, so on and so forth into the big leagues. There will be opportunity that will come. It just will be, because if you see some boss guys going for cheap, people will buy them. But Sets has been too successful. I think it maybe has, in terms of how it's coloured their perception of things. But I'm not sure it's become the people's game. Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. It's definitely replaced Limited for a lot of folk. And with Rares now really having quite little difference to Limited. That's the Pandora's box that's been opened here. It's how much of a hole in the bucket is Sets making. Because it's been like to Limited, I think initially, if you're going to spend 50 quid on a team, you're not going to do that anymore. You'll spend 50 quid on gems. If you're going to spend 200 quid on a Limited team, you're probably playing Sets. So then, and the needle moves. Like, how much of a rare team are you going to build? 800 quid? To try and win. To try and win what? Like 800 quid in J League to try and hit 450 for 3 grand. Most likely you're going to hit 430. Is this a boost one as well? First 4 match days? Yeah, this is the boost one. This is, yeah, why would you, if you're spending 800 quid on, and J League's probably not even near the price of that, right? Let's just say 400 on rare in season. I'm not sure the value is there. Yeah, because Sets is like Champ, wasn't it? Or it was anyway, mildly. You had the 3 leagues, but they all played together. And now it's just like summer camp, they all play together. And again, the real game doesn't have that. It's all league segregated. But you can kind of choose your club, as we did before, where we would target, like, we'll batter the Prem missions, and then once we've done as far as we can with them, we'll flip and we'll do League 1 missions until it's reasonable to then, we did that kind of thing before. But they were all in the same. It was basically Champ, wasn't it, in terms of a region? Laird's away to the dentist. Any bar. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't actually mean that, Rico. You're giving me too much credit there, mate. You're giving me too much credit. Maybe subconsciously that's where it came from. But no, that was a totally unintentional pun. At what point of each season, slightly lowering rewards in a funky way with it collapse? Yeah, is that like the first couple? Yeah, first 2 weeks that things are boosted. The first 3 weeks here, the first whatever, first 4 match days, first 2 game weeks, all this stuff. There will be a little bit of a boost, and that will ditch down, won't it? Quite harsh. Yeah, I'm with you, Don Q. If they just did the DNP solutions that they added in, why break up the regions? Yeah, like really, what would be the issue with that? Like that was one of the big things we were buzzing about for last year. I was like, this is the way. We shouldn't be getting any more of this. And here we find ourselves at the crossroads of what the hell are we doing? Like as a player, am I playing Holland? Am I playing Portugal? Am I going to play Championship? I've seen James Tavernier linked to Derby County, by the way, Rico man. So watch out for taking his picture. The DNP solution and leaderboard isn't really a solution. I like the two subs thing, to be honest with you. The goalkeeper and the outfielder, I quite like it. It's not a definitive solution, of course, because it's a bit sensitive to positions and that, but I like it enough. To be honest with you, I do like it enough. Yeah. And the one team does all was a nice element. And again, if they want to segregate that, I don't even really mind that. But it's the whole break apart of regionality. Yeah, really. I seen it on my timeline about half an hour ago. Or hell, I've been here for an hour, so an hour and a half ago I seen it. Tavernier to Derby. Mooted. At least put Scotland and Portugal together. Yeah. Totally, Ian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your step counter thing with Scotland will be weird. Oh, you say that, by the way, Ian, but you've been on Scottish football, SFD, you've been on it. Like, building like a fantasy team in the league, you might not be able to do team stacks in Scotland, but building fantasy teams like maybe how many teams have we got? Our lives have we got? Say 3 or 4. You maybe got a Celtic defense stack, a Rangers defense stack. Not me, one of you guys. A random defense stack, and then you've got 4 or 5 mids. Take your pick, and then you're picking a bunch of guys for top goal scorer every week. Or goals. I think SPFL will be fine for that across all the points to streak at. Obviously, you maybe need Celtic at home to bottom of the table or something of that ilk to get the last streaks over the line. I think SPFL will be really fine for it. I really do. It would help if you could add some sporting guys in or some Fenerbahce guys in again, obviously. This might be stupid. I doubt it, mate. I doubt it, Horg. You're a good contributor, mate. I feel like the DNP stuff is a must add for streaks, but for leaderboards, I mean, it could benefit some others, but not that much. Yes, exactly. I think it's fine. I don't think it's a. But I'll use it. I'll use it. I'll handcuff goalkeepers. Like if I've got All Black and Jan Musso, I'll handcuff that shit all day. I don't mind that at all. I don't have as many goalkeeper handcuffs as I probably should, and that's maybe a wee bit of housekeeping I do once we can play with this and open it up a bit. But I've definitely, like you guys, seen the amount of rares I was just letting loose for limited essence for giveaways. Won't need to do that as much because I'll be winning limited essence off of streaks and whatever. Oh crap! I might need to revisit that whole thing now. I might really need to let in season limiteds I'm winning. TBC. We'll still have giveaways, but we'll see how we work it. The streaks one's good, of course. Elliot Watt has been handed a 4-match ban by the SFA while he's leaving. I don't know if you noticed that. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that too. And I don't think it's ill-intentioned. I just think it's misguided. Like this, see this classic thing. This is all right, okay? But see when you're pulling all-star essence and you have got, let's count them, right? Contender, which contains 4 divisions, right? But let's just call that a league, right? Contender. Japan. K in MLS. We'll add them in. English second division. SPFL. Portugal. Holland. Belgium. That's 9 different leagues. And then we have the 4 champ leagues, which are kind of fine to pull them out of All-Star, I would say, even if you're not playing them, because generally they should be worth money and you should be able to trade them. But let's just add them in. That's 13 separate competitions that you're going to be crafting cards for, from to whatever. 13. What are the odds that you get a usable card for the one league that you're strategizing for? And bearing in mind all the essence payouts or all the crafting costs have went up. Like, it's misguided. I don't think it's ill-intentioned. I think it's misguided. Whereas if Scotland, Turkey, all these guys were together, then when you're pulling this All-Star Essence, you've not got a 1 in 13 chance of pulling the league of your desires. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of pulling the region you play. Listen, see, I'll play SPFL. I have a lot of fun with it, Kieran. I've got no issues. I like the prize pool, like everything about it. No issues here with that. If you want something to do with Classic, you need to enter in Essence Casino Arenas. Yeah, I think so. I'm not going to do that. I will play Arena more than I did last year, because I do think that was a strategy I underutilized, but I will still primarily be in set and forget SO7, SO9s. Well, they've just upped the VAT. League clues have doubled in price. The league clue is now 2,000 essence. So look at the prize pool. To craft with one clue, you need to get in the top 100 of rare. If they give out more league clues, like tokens somehow for like decisive picker or daily missions, that might change things a little bit. But they've made it so expensive as well. Like, it honestly is just misguided, ill-informed. I wouldn't say ill-intentioned, though. Yeah, that too. More steps, a longer actual to your streaking, and you're actually doing something of note. Yeah. So, yeah, maybe they'll give out more league clues. They'll probably listen to this and maybe jot that note down. It's a good one. Good suggestion. But yeah, I think that's still the kind of sticking point. Somebody asked James Johnson, when I was in the live chat on Sorare when we're doing member streams and stuff. I'm feeling, well, maybe kick it off over the weekend. I kind of need to see what situation is for the weekend plans and whatnot. We're getting a hard time. I need to do more daddy summer holiday stuff, so I need to kind of kick on with that a bit more. So I need to watch for that. But as soon as all this is digested, we've got everything now. There's not going to be any new info tomorrow. I highly doubt that. So we'll be back on maybe the weekend, but definitely Monday, I would say. We'll do proper 27 members action strategy chat. I've kind of, yeah, I kind of feel that way sometimes. If they're talking about bringing last man tackle in again, like that's a serious consideration, then they are really talking to, they're not listening to enough people. Cards need viability. There needs to be a reason you're going to spend money on something. People don't have infinite money. People can't pull money out of thin air. People won't just pay because. People won't just spend because. Oh, they said they're giving out less clues. Oh, cool. Thanks for that. Keksupe, you caught that one. Well, yeah, a club on MFL is only like 80 quid or so. Link in the description. And I've actually just dropped all my MFL beginner tutorials as a refresh this week. So I've got everything you need to know about the players, because they go through careers. It's a lot of fun that goes into this. But also did a full complete beginner tutorial so you can learn everything you need to. But this is the last kind of cry to any members. If we need defenders, if you have them, let me know. I'll be live tomorrow morning for MFL in the morning to try and get some transfers done. And we'll be back from the mid-season break. We'll be finishing off the community team. Thank you very much, Rico. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that. We are about to win our first title. We bought this club off the market. You can buy a club out of a pack, which, again, check out the beginner tutorials. But you can buy clubs off of the secondary market. You can buy somebody else's club. And the reason we bought this club, if I can... Oh, yeah, we're on the right page. It's because it already had some trophies in the cabinet. We've not added one in yet as the Barcelona community. But season 15 is going to be the year we do it. I can feel it. Get ourselves onto the roll of honour here for the Ravens. But we need a backup defence. We've got the firepower. I say that, by the way, we're not even top scorers in the league, but it feels like we're doing really well. Our defence is actually holding up pretty nicely. Only conceded 7. Maybe the goalkeeper's a big part of that. It was hard to catch something on that. They were rambling so much. Yeah, like again, like I didn't catch everything. I will need to give it a re-listen. I was also kind of like trying to multitask, so there's a little bit of that, and then 2 guys on 1 mic. Like I don't know why Sorare refused to go into different rooms and different laptops. Just have headphones and stuff, you know. But anyway, yeah, I kind of delayed that, to be honest with you, Mikey. I've learned mistakes with Sorare that I've not brought to MFL in terms of making content that dies quickly in terms of relevance. There'll be a bunch of Sorare stuff right around the corner now that we've got all the info and all the intel. Because I think with Sorare 27, the main thing, we've kind of spoke about it in a roundabout way, is the game now is about playing your league. Are you an SPFL fan? Are you a Premier League fan? Are you a La Liga fan? X, Y, and Z. There's 13 of them to choose from. One of them's a region. Play your league today. You know, that'll be the chat. I can feel it already. That'll be given it. So, yeah, stay tuned for that in due course, no doubt. But yeah, it just feels that it's been made unnecessarily difficult for classics and for OGs. And like I say, it's not even just OGs, but it's like anyone who starts today, buys in season cards, ends up in our position in no time. You want everyone to be connected to the game. My cards have a purpose. They will help. I like them. I want to buy more of them. These are the things that we all want to be thinking and feeling. Liam King, good to catch you. Just catch me on outro, buddy. I'll hang about for an hour 5 since you're here, mate. Good to see you. Good old fresh old days indeed. Yeah, they don't make that many. There's been some key cosmetic updates that has made the beginner tutorials I've made previously like redundant. Because I had that cartoon one for ages, and those things changed ages ago. I did try and do a non-cartoon one back in March, but I didn't do it. I did it well. It was okay, but it didn't do that well. I needed redone. I've got some stuff to catch up with. Some serious stuff that just came across my desk. Oh, whoa. Wow. Yeah, a bit like. And again, we've not even spoke about how super rare and unique SPFL, J League, and England is in the rest of the world region. It's not on this page, is it? It should be. Rest of the world. Yeah. For super rare and unique. So you've got Austria, Croatia, Bundesliga 2, League 2, Japan, English Championship, and SPFL. Super rares and uniques in this. And I'm sure like McBride and Liam will be looking at the top of this thinking, that's pretty punchy if you can pull it off. Bundesliga 2 is going to be pretty formidable, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Strong toilet flush there. Did you? Wasn't me, was it? Kieran, either over the weekend, but most likely Monday. We'll get back at it Monday morning. Yeah, less clues for you, Chris Holt. I think the clues, I think they're even more valuable now because it could be absolutely anything. I don't know what my strategy will be. I'm more inclined to, I'll be using the league clue at every opportunity because I'm, especially early, I'll want things that I'll add into my utility quickly. That's my main agenda early in the season. As the season goes on, that might change and I might just do something like you just to get market fodder. But yeah, that'll be something I'll chew over a bit further. But yeah, I can see people having your POV, Chris. I can see that being quite popular. Can we get fucked Friday? Go fuck. Maybe, mate. Maybe. I'll We'll see. We'll see. We did it a week or two ago. It went down quite well. Maybe bring it back for the season. I don't know if I can do it like tomorrow. I'll look into it all. I'll look into it all, mate. Happy to do the content you guys want to see in here. But yeah, thanks everyone that tuned in. Leave your comments down below. MFL players, thoughts and feelings, all that good stuff. We'll be back live tomorrow for some MFL in the morning. And yeah, have a good day, everyone. I'll catch you soon.